Welcome in, everyone. Episode number 9 of the 300 Section Sports Podcast. I'm Grady. I'm here with my good friends Colin and Casey today. Gentlemen, how are we doing? Go ahead and unmute for me.
I am doing amazing. I'm ready to get this podcast started.
Colin?
I'm doing pretty good today. I'm just chilling. You know how it is.
Good news. So guys, we're going to have a fun episode today. We're going to talk about LeBron James. He signed. We talked about him last week, where he might sign. We got confirmation this weekend. Patrick Kane back to the Chicago Blackhawks. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk a little bit of NFL. Vita Vea has requested a trade out of the Buccaneers. We'll talk about that. And the MLB trade deadline is next Monday. So we're going to give our thoughts as we get a little bit closer to that. But before we get into the episode, I do want to plug our Instagram at 300 Section Sports Podcast for content throughout the week. Also on our Spotify is also 300 Section Sports Podcast at the end. Yes, no, Colin?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Some of you might be listening on it right now. So
you might be listening on the Spotify right now. I'm just basing it off the YouTube because I'm looking at it as we're recording. But yeah, anyways, that's all the introduction that I have for us. But Colin, for our trivia this week, it is your turn to give us a question. What do you have for us?
I went with NHL because I think Casey's starting to run away with trivia, so I wanted to even the playing field back out.
I'm wearing my United States hockey hat today, so I better get it right.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. So this trivia question actually comes from my dad. He gave it to me last week. He asked for it to be on the episode, so I figured I would pay it forward and put it in the episode. So his question for you guys was, what was the last team to win a championship during the NHL's original 6 era? So the last team to win a championship while there was only 6 teams in the league.
While there was only 6 teams in the league. I think
there's only 6 choices. So
yes,
I don't know the 6 choices.
Grady can tell you.
So your 6 choices in Canada, you have the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. In the United States, the Detroit Red Wings, Chicago Blackhawks, New York Rangers, and Boston Bruins.
Bang. I know I'm fully wrong.
If I give you a year, do I get bonus points?
Oh man, no, I don't get bonus points. The fuck?
No, you don't get bonus points. But if you get, actually, you have to give me a year for you to be right. Casey just has to give me the team. Even the playing field for him.
Thank you.
Okay.
No bonus points, but I will accept style. It'll be style points, maybe.
Dude,
I have my answer written down.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna let Casey go first, just because I feel like I don't want him to have to put it up after you.
I'm gonna go with the Boston Bruins.
Okay, Grady.
Okay, that's wrong.
Go Canadians.
I'm pretty sure it was Toronto Maple Leafs 1967, the year before the LA Kings joined the NHL.
Oh wow.
That would be 100% correct.
Bang!
And the reason I knew that Grady would know that is because it's the last time they won a championship.
Yeah.
So 7 teams was too much for them. They couldn't win after that. They shut down after that.
I think that's the first time I've gotten a trivia right that Casey hasn't also gotten it right.
To all the viewers,
this
is what they're doing to me. This is what they're doing to me now.
I had to nerf him. I had to go
out. They don't want me to have any fun.
Maybe if you
actually, that was
my
pretty fun.
Hockey ramblings just one time, you would know that. Okay.
But I would have never known that 1967 was the end of the original 6 era. Like, he was cooked.
You didn't?
Oh,
yeah, my bad, bro. Neither did you. So.
Well, the only reason I know that is because I have nothing better to do with my life. So.
Yeah, the alternate question was, which was the last of the original 6 teams to win a championship? But I knew Grady would get that, so easily.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. Give a guess. Like, which of those 6 teams was the last one to win a championship?
Oh, most recently?
The most recent champion.
It's the Blackhawks, yeah.
Yeah, well, I knew you would know that. Like, I knew you would get that right. So I was like,
oh, that's true. We talked enough that I would know that.
Yeah. But, all right. Well, feels good to get one right. When I was writing it down, I wasn't 100% sure. I almost said the Canadiens, but I went back to Maple Leafs, so I'm glad that I was right about that. All right. Let's go ahead pick of the week, guys. We've decided this pick of the week literally 2 minutes before we press the record button. So we're going to give this one our best go. But thanks to Colin, we know that on Wednesday, which is tomorrow at 8 p.m., the MLS All-Stars will be playing against the Liga MX All-Stars, which is the top Mexican football league. Yes?
Yeah. They do a lot
Yeah.
of stuff with the MLS. They do a lot of crossover.
Yeah, so that is tomorrow at 8 p.m. We're going to make our picks for who will win. Admittedly, I don't know a ton, so Colin, I'm going to defer to you to give your pick first.
So I think the All-Star game is always a little like finicky because the best players don't always play, especially with the World Cup having been, 3 weeks ago or, whatever it is now, 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to go with the Liga MX All-Stars. I just think it's a better league. I think there's a lot more talent in Mexico than there is in the MLS, especially because that MLS top-tier talent just made it pretty deep in the World Cup in terms of Messi and a few other guys. So yeah, I'm going to give the edge to Liga MX. I think they just care more about it, and I think they have a better team.
Casey?
Well, I'm going to go the other way and say the MLS because you know who they got, guys? My boy, Tim Ream. And he's gonna be able to defend so well against these
Is he an all-star?
Liga MX. From what I'm seeing, yes.
Oh, I believe you. I mean, he made the national team, so like, surely.
I mean, this is my like 1 minute search. So I'm like trying to figure out, and that name just popped out to me,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with MLS for that.
He's the GOAT, so.
Okay, you know what? I was going to say MLS, but now that Casey has brought up Tim Ream is on the team, and that guy is a terrorist to this country, I'm going with Liga MX.
That was crazy. USA,
Dude,
USA.
So only Casey rocking with the MLS.
Only. We'll see tomorrow. What? Game's at 8 p.m., so by 10 p.m.
Yeah.
We'll probably know. So I don't know.
I hope the MLS wins.
But yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, let's move on. Big news, biggest news of the day that we're going to be talking about. Kind of ironic. I was in Philadelphia this past weekend, so this news broke while I was there. It was kind of actually really cool to be in the city while this happened. LeBron James, per ESPN Shams Charania, LeBron James is signing with the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year, $8 million deal with a player option. Guys, this is big news. LeBron joins his 4th team in his NBA career. So what does it mean for the 76ers? Are we thinking they're instant title contenders, favorites in the East, more pretenders? What are our thoughts here?
I mean, even without LeBron, they already got Jaylen Brown, who I thought was really good. So I thought they were title contenders from that. But with LeBron, it might just be like a little better. Like, I know he's still good at his age, but he's just there to get that ring. So I don't know. Maybe he's just that's not really answering the question, but I'll still go with
the question was like, do you think so? You think the Sixers are title contenders regardless?
Yeah.
Colin?
I thought the Sixers, like Casey said, were title contenders before. So I think this just pushes them forward. My only concern is I think I saw LeBron is going to play point guard for this team. So I'm a little interested to see how that's going to work out. I guess Jaylen Brown will play the 3, if I would have to presume.
Jaylen Brown
LeBron is
small forward.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's gonna have. I mean, he's gonna have to. You can't have Maxey or him on the bench either. And if LeBron is gonna be your primary ball handler up and down the court, then I mean, someone's got to play the 3. So
not Edgecombe. I don't know.
That guy's not touching the starting lineup. Like, there's no way unless they're playing Jaylen Brown at the 4.
But why not play LeBron at the 4?
I don't know, but they're not. So like. With the known quantities that are out there, which is LeBron is playing point guard, VJ Edgecombe is not in that starting lineup unless they're playing him at the 4.
That's a good point. Okay, sorry, that was a tangent. Do you think the Sixers can win a title?
Yeah, I think they can absolutely win a title. I don't think they're the favorite to win a title. I think the West is still holding the 2 favorites, potentially even 3 with the Wolves now to win the title. But yeah, I mean, no, I'm being realistic.
All right, maybe I'm a little bit more bullish than y'all on LeBron and the Sixers. If I were to pick a champion right now, I would be all in. on the Sixers. I think you look at that starting lineup. I don't think there's a better starting five. Maybe not starting five because, as you mentioned, LeBron's playing the point, but we'll see. But the way that I would write it out, I think that the Sixers have the best starting five in the NBA. I think it's better than the Thunder. I think it's better than the Spurs right now. Maybe the bench is a little bit more lacking than the Thunder and the Spurs, and that could get them into some trouble. But I personally think that this is a great move for the Sixers. I mean, obviously anyone would love to sign LeBron James, but yeah, adding him onto the roster, I think this makes them my favorite personally.
I don't know. I think that's an overreaction. I think the Thunder are probably still the favorite in my eyes. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is potentially the best player in the league, and they're the best defensive team in the league. So it's going to be pretty hard to beat them. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Sixers could be there at the end of the year. That's
they have
the
the
goal.
easier path. All they got to do is win the East first. So
I think the East might be harder now.
You think so?
Mhm.
Top end talent wise or depth?
Probably top end. I actually depth. I think. I mean, the Pistons didn't go anywhere. Who else? The Celtics are still going to be good. The Heat are still going to be good. The Sixers are really good. The Knicks are really good. The Magic can really. I still think like push teams around a little bit. I mean, I still think there's teams there, like even the Magic tier and below that are really going to be a thorn in the side of other teams.
I know you don't believe in the Pacers, but I think the Pacers can make noise in the East too. So
yeah, I mean, no, but that's what I'm saying. The Pacers are going to be back too. I mean, we just named 6, 7 teams or whatever that are all going to be contenders to run through the East. But if any one of those teams won the Eastern Conference next year, like, would you really be that surprised? I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah, really not.
I think if anyone other than the Thunder, Spurs, or Wolves won the Western Conference, I'd be pretty surprised next year.
I'd be surprised even if the Wolves won the Western Conference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but at least I'm like, I could see it. They're always there. They're always right on the doorstep. They just broke through finally. But the rest of the West, I don't see the Rockets doing anything or any of that. Like
that repulsive to you, Casey?
Yeah.
If you're listening on the Spotify, a picture of LeBron James in a Sixers jersey just came up on the screen. So Casey is
Casey's throwing up,
vomiting on the podcast.
I've been following LeBron since he was on the Heat, and I think my time has come where I'm just gonna stick with the team and I'm gonna stick with the Lakers. So,
aren't you an LA fan though?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of another reason why I went with.
Casey's gonna bite the bullet and remain a fan of the Lakers. He's gonna embrace hardship.
Yeah, embrace the hardship of Luka Doncic. Are you kidding me?
That's what no. Casey's gonna embrace the hardship of being a fan of the winningest team of the last 3 decades. Suffering isn't for everyone.
I'm not gonna lie. In that Sixers throwback jersey, I think that looks really good. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it does. But now imagine if that said Phila or whatever it normally says, and it was bright blue.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it as much. There's a reason ESPN made it the throwback in this graphic. We all know what the better jersey is.
Yeah, but they're gonna wear the life out of that.
Yeah, they will.
Jersey or whatever it is.
They have the most primetime games. I think they have 34 national television games.
That's because the NBA had to Doctor Strange put the schedule together right after he signed.
34 is the max allowed under the CBA. So
it's his last season. I don't foresee LeBron re-signing under this player option.
Yeah.
So.
But okay, final question before we move on. For LeBron James personally, do we think this was the right choice? We knew the Heat were in contention. We knew the Warriors. Maybe the Cavs kind of slipped out at the last moment was kind of the report. But do you think that the 76ers, for LeBron's career, this was the best choice to end with? Or maybe even stay back with the Lakers? Was that the better option at the end of the day?
This was his best bet to win a title, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think over the Heat, Warriors, and Cavaliers, I think it's definitely the best bet. But I think if he wanted to really chase for that ring, he could have stayed in the West and went with the Thunder and the Spurs, but
I think LeBron was pretty set on going to a team that wasn't a perceived title contender the year before, and I think Philly is the best team that fits that identity.
Yeah,
it's true, but I feel like they're they were in that line to where like people can see them as maybe not
Well, now that
as
they had
good
Jaylen
compared to
Brown, but I'm
others.
talking about last year.
Okay, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. I get you.
Because my thought is that I think this is the best case scenario for LeBron because he goes for a team that had no expectations really like last year. And so if he doesn't win, you can just chalk it up to, well, he's 40 whatever, and the team all came together this year, whatever. But if he goes to the Thunder and he doesn't win a title, or the Spurs and he doesn't win a title, it's like, well, that was a championship team. You went there and they're worse. So I mean, you can only hurt yourself by doing that. Nowhere to
Yeah,
go but up with this team. If it fails, it's like whatever. LeBron's that old, and
that's
maybe
true.
the team isn't
Okay.
actually that good. We don't know. We've never seen him play.
And at
Mhm.
worst, he's the second greatest player of all time, arguably the greatest. So he's not harming his career doing this.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he is the greatest player. But I'm saying if you want to give haters more ammunition, then join the Spurs and come up short.
Mhm.
Yeah. Final thing on LeBron. Just give you guys a little story time because I think this was cool. I was at the Philadelphia Phillies baseball game the same day
Uh-huh.
that he signed, and they had the Philly fanatic come out of the tunnel, and he had the chalk powder, and he threw it up in the air, and he had like a welcome to Philly sign for LeBron. It was a really cool thing they did. I thought that was fun. But
Actually, I
yeah.
kind of hate the Philly fanatic, but I'm gonna get hate online for saying that probably. But I actually really hate the Philly fanatic.
It doesn't make sense to me.
And any short and concise way to explain why?
He's just like the embodiment of Philadelphia, and I don't like Philadelphia. Like he's just like annoying and like he instigates. Like I don't know. That's like really all there is to say about it.
Well, that Phillies game I was at was against the Yankees, so I like had to pick the lesser of two evils to root for.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. No, I'm not saying people are gonna root for the Phillies. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, but I'm not one of those people, and that's okay.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on, guys. NHL. After our little question about original six teams, we're going to talk about original six team. We talked about the Blackhawks 2 weeks in a row now. Patrick Kane has signed a 2-year contract with the Chicago Blackhawks worth an AAV of $8 million. $16 million in total. Patrick Kane returns to the team that he was great with in the 2010s and the late 2000s. Won 3 cups there, 2010, 2013, and 2015. We don't talk about 2015 as a Lightning fan. Should have put Vazzy in, but that is what it is. Guys, is this a good move for the Blackhawks, or is it simply a nostalgia filler for the fans of Chicago as they try to continue to retool this roster? Bring them back to the glory days of the Blackhawks in the 2010s and just call it a day, or is this actually a good move? What do we think?
I think it's a good move. We all know that Patrick Kane is really good, and even though he's not as good as he was, like in his prime, I think he's still going to be a valuable player for this Blackhawks team. And if anything, he'll be a good mentor to Bedard while Bedard's in his prime. So even with the cap being, Bedard, Kane, and Byram, I think that's still solid. I think it's at the very least, I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think it's both, to be completely honest. I think it's a nostalgia pickup, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think the fact that it is a nostalgia move is a good thing for the Blackhawks because now they've made a move. Their fans are happy because one, they've brought back Patrick Kane, who the fans, obviously they like, and two, they've made an attempt to make the team better, so the fans are happy with them. Now their worst case scenario is this move doesn't work out, but are the fans going to be mad at the Blackhawks for bringing back Patrick Kane? I don't think that's the case. So their worst case scenario is that people are like, man, we suck again, but they're nostalgic about Patrick Kane, so they come back to see him in a Blackhawks jersey one more time. And I think that's a victory, really. If you're an organization who's trying to make a move, you make a move that even if it doesn't work out, people will be happy about it. So I think it's a win-win, really.
I think so too. I think my only thing is you're not going to get the 110 point Hart Trophy winning Patrick Kane back on the Blackhawks. It's never going to happen again. He had 57 points in 67 games last year with the Red Wings, and obviously the Red Wings sucked. So, that point total on that team is really good. I think Patrick Kane still has gas left in the tank at his age. My only thing is they're paying him $8 million a year. At his height, he was making 10.5 with the Blackhawks, but even last year with the Red Wings, he was only making $3 million. So it feels like just kind of an overpay to bring back Patrick Kane, maybe trying to outbid Buffalo, which I think that likely was what it was. It came down to Buffalo versus Chicago, it seems, for Patrick Kane. I just think my only thing is the money, but also where else is it going over the next 2 years? So I can't necessarily fault Chicago for this move. But yeah, Casey, you kind of already touched on this. I think this is the big part of this signing. Is this going to help develop Connor Bedard on the top line? Because I think the answer is we're all going to say yes to this, right? Like,
yeah.
This is what you need if you're Connor Bedard. They've been looking for a top line winger to place beside him since the moment he laced up the skates in the NHL. And whenever Connor Bedard comes back from a shoulder injury, you have that right-handed shot in Patrick Kane, who really can play on the left side too as a right-handed shot, which is kind of impressive. But yeah, I think Patrick Kane is going to be a great mentor for Connor Bedard to just reach the 80-90 point threshold maybe next year.
Yeah, and I think if your worst case scenario for him is that he's just a nostalgia signing, that's fine. Like, I don't think that ends up being a bad thing because it's a 2-year deal. In 2 years you're done with him. Like, who cares?
Right. I mean, in 2 years he'll probably retire anyway, so he'll be 39 by then. So
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like 2 years from now, if you're like, "Dang, that was a horrible signing," people are just gonna remember. Oh, remember when we had Patrick Kane again? That's so awesome.
I'm so I'm so torn on it because Patrick Kane is the greatest U.S. hockey player of all time, and I will not debate with anybody that there's a better American NHL player than Patrick Kane in the history of the NHL. But he terrorized me in 2015 in the Stanley Cup final. So I don't like seeing him back on the Blackhawks for that reason. But that is what it is.
Better than seeing him on Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I was thinking about that. I was like, if he was a Sabre, I would have hated that a whole lot more. So
yeah, that'd be even more terrorizing for you.
Yeah, but he could have been on the Lightning. I mean, for $8 million, he could have been on the Lightning, but would have been nice to put him in the top 6. Anybody?
Speaking of the Lightning, I think they're either conjuring up like the best trade or signing later on, or like they're just not doing anything because I want to see something. I want to see something out of them.
I want to see something too. They signed John Carlson.
I think they're just praying that this core can run it back again. Like, genuinely, I think that's all you're getting.
They just need one more right-handed shot to place on the second line, on the Kucherov, place it on the Kucherov top line, and bump Gensel down with Hagel and Gonsalves. That's what I would.
Who's that guy though? Who's that guy?
I don't know. I mean, Patrick Laine is still available in free agency, but he has a million and one issues. I think
they want to take this team to the trade deadline and then see what's there. Like, I genuinely think that's what they're doing.
I think so too, but I don't know. You hear about Shane Wright trade rumors and other guys that might be available from teams that are looking to rebuild, and I just think the Lightning have the pieces to maybe go and make one more big move before this year because I think the window's closing for us. But
I think they're hoping that those guys will be available at the deadline and that they'll look at the team and say, okay, the window is open, or they'll have the opportunity to look at the team and say, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter if we get a right-handed shot. The window's closed, and that could be the reality with this team. You never know.
I don't think the window's closed. I think it's clearly a playoff team, and they haven't.
Yeah, I don't think the window's closed either. But if we're rolling in there and things have gone horrifically with injuries and whatever, or not, these guys aren't spring chickens. They're not going to bounce back from that. The window, might be. Well, I mean, hopefully it's open. Hopefully it's open for years to come, and something magical happens.
And Florida is back in physical. Buffalo's physical. Toronto's good.
That's what I'm saying. They might want to hold and see what they're looking at before they mortgage their whole future on an aging team.
I just need a good 4-0 against Florida this year. That would be my Stanley Cup. Besides actually winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
All right, guys. Let's move on. We're not even talking about Patrick Kane anymore. NFL. Let's stay in the Tampa Bay region. So, per NFL Network's Mike Garafolo, Buccaneers' 2-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Vita Vea has requested a trade after failed attempts at a contract extension. So, guys, Vita Vea has 1 year remaining on his current contract. This probably comes as a blow to the Bucks. All the talk has been about Baker Mayfield this offseason and an extension there. And I think Vita Vea was kind of off most fans' radars. And then this kind of, borderline bombshell news, especially for Bucks fans. I mean, Colin and I are Bucks fans. So for us, this is a much bigger deal than I think the rest of NFL fans. But yeah, here's my question. Are the Buccaneers slowly falling apart from a structural perspective in their roster?
Define structural. I think that that really changes my answer to the question.
I mean, in terms of player personnel, I mean, Levante David just retired. Mike Evans has, gone to the 49ers. Now Vita Vea looks like he may or may not start the season with us. So,
here's my thought. In 2020, the Bucks sent it, right? Like, we can be straight up, the Bucks sent it. They went for it. The window was there. They won the title. We're all happy about that. They lost Tom Brady. They still really had the roster. They signed Baker Mayfield. They went for it. Well, you can only go for it so many times with the same group of guys. I just think the team is aging out. And this is the reality of what you get when you go for it, is now you take the downfall of it where the team is going to fall apart. You can't re-sign everybody. People are going to leave. Vita Vea, it hurts to see him go, but I don't know. I just think that's the reality of the team. You can't pay everyone. You have to prioritize some people over others. And I mean, the Bucks are clearly making their priorities known. I think this is going to hurt us in the run game. I think the defensive line's already weak, so I'm not excited about it.
Casey?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a two-step back, one-step forward kind of deal, because I think there's still parts of this Bucks team that can still play. You guys just picked up Ruben Bain, and some people are giving him hate for it, but I think he's a good player. I wish the Rams took him before and we ended up taking freaking Ty Simpson, but that's a story that we already talked about. And the wide receiver group I think still looks pretty good, and Emeka Egbuka I think is a really good player. Even with Chris Godwin's injury struggles, I think you still have a good 2-3 starters that can pop out during games. So that's my spiel on it.
I agree. I think there are some solid pieces in Tampa still, and obviously I think this team can compete for a division title in a weak NFC South. They may not be the favorites anymore, but I think they certainly can throw their name in the hat for it. But Casey, one guy you didn't mention, and Colin, you briefly mentioned. I want to talk about, what does this trade request, you guys think, might indicate about the potential volume of a Baker Mayfield extension? We know that they may not revisit those talks until the end of the season, but surely that means the number for Baker and his camp, they're probably asking for north of $50 million a year.
Well, I don't know if you saw the report, but apparently they made an offer, and Baker Mayfield and his camp found it laughable, and that's why they're not talking anymore. I have a feeling that number has to be in the 30-40 millions, probably, right? It's got to be in the 40
millions. It has
millions,
to be, because he's making 33 now.
And if he thinks an offer in the 40 millions is laughable, then he needs to take his talents elsewhere. I'm sorry, but Baker Mayfield, this roster can win the NFC South. I completely agree with you. As it stands, this roster can win the NFC South. This team cannot win the Super Bowl. This team cannot hang with the Seahawks in the playoffs. This team cannot hang with the Rams in the playoffs. It cannot hang with. We've seen it fail to the Lions in the playoffs multiple times. I don't think this team can hang with the Eagles anymore. I mean, we've seen it where they get lucky. But with Vita Vea out, we can't stop the tush push anymore. So this team can't compete in the NFC for a conference title and a Super Bowl. So what's the point? If Baker Mayfield is making, for every miraculous play, for people who aren't fans of the Bucks, maybe they don't watch every week, for every miraculous play that I love Baker Mayfield for, that you've seen, where he's stiff arming Nick Bosa to the ground as he throws the game-winning pass, and you're like, that guy's so sick. That guy will win you games. I've watched him miss wide-open receivers and throw an interception with us up 2 scores, and he can't pick up a first down, and we blow 14-point leads because he's turning the ball over at the 50-yard line. He can't take a sack when he just needs to take a sack and run some 40 more seconds off the clock. Baker Mayfield might win the Bucks 3 or 4 more games every year, but he loses the Bucks 3 or 4 games back, and we end up 8-8. So what's the point? What's genuinely the point of keeping Baker Mayfield for $50 million?
You know who that reminds me a lot of?
Dak
Jameis
Prescott.
Winston.
Jameis Winston. Yep.
He's literally
100%.
Jameis Winston with swag. Like, he's literally Jameis Winston with swag. And I love Jameis Winston, and I love Baker Mayfield, so I don't want to get it twisted. If Baker Mayfield agreed to sign for $33 million again, I'm right on the train. But when Baker Mayfield has no offensive line because we can't pay anyone, the defense can't stop a runny nose because we can't pay anyone, but we got Baker Mayfield slinging the ball to the defensive backs and the receivers, I don't want to watch that. I'd rather just let him go and move on and keep Ruben Bain, Emeka Ibuka, Bucky Irving, all these good young guys, Tristan Wirfs, Winfield in the secondary, and just let that team come back again. Let it have the natural flow, but it just feels like they're hanging on to the 2020 team, and Baker Mayfield's not Tom Brady.
I mean, my thing is like, surely Baker Mayfield doesn't think he deserves the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott money, right? Like,
but he does. But like, clearly he does. You know,
he seems to think that, you know.
And someone's going to give him that. That's the thing. Someone's going to give him that.
Yeah, there are QBs that are getting that much money that I just don't think are good.
Are that good? I agree with you.
Makes that much money, and I would argue Baker Mayfield's a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. So
yeah,
I mean, you could argue that, but at least Trevor Lawrence is younger. Like,
yeah.
And you're playing him with an offensive coach who's a good offensive coach who can make Trevor Lawrence better. I'm playing Baker Mayfield with Todd Bowles, who's only going to make him worse. So I got 2 evils fighting against each other to make my team lose games. I don't want that. Like,
and my we were talking about this earlier, Colin. So I'm just going to bring this point back up to you, just because I thought it was an interesting discussion point. Is if not Baker, like what's the reasonable alternative?
It's to lose. It's to lose, and I'm okay with that. I can accept that. I would rather the Buccaneers look me in the face and say, we're a bad team, but we are making an attempt to improve it, than saying we're a mediocre team and we're going to hang on to that for as long as possible. Because that's what they've done. That's what the Buccaneers have done. And honestly, I'm sick of it. They draft good talent. They're good front office. They're good at finding the talent. Draft a quarterback. Go. Even if you don't draft a quarterback, go out there, draft a few offensive linemen, draft a few weapons, build the rest of the roster back up, and you will find your Sam Darnold if that's what you need to do. The Seahawks built the perfect roster and they dropped Sam Darnold into it. I don't think Sam Darnold is that good of a quarterback, but if you put him on the Seahawks, he can take your team to a Super Bowl. That quarterback is out there if the Bucs can put together that good of a roster.
And if you are going to take a risk in getting rid of your quarterback, who's, for all his faults, he has played incredibly well over 3 years with Tampa so far.
He's
but
good.
If you're going to take that risk and let him go, this might be the year to do it, because the quarterback class projects to be very well for the 2027 draft. So
yeah, I mean, like, I could have. There's going to be Manning. There's going to be Chambliss. There's going to be Dante Moore. Surely I can get one of those guys at 12, which is realistically what the Bucs are going to be picking at when they go 7 and 9 or 7 and 10.
Who's the guy from South Carolina? Lenore Sellers. I think he could be a first round pick too.
But that's my point. There are guys who are talented who are going to cost us, instead of $50 million a year, $20 million a year or $15 million a year, depending on when you get them. And I would rather watch my quarterback make stupid mistakes knowing that he's 21.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and I would love for him to prove me wrong this year. I would love for him to prove me wrong this year, and we do great and things go great. But if Vita Vea is leaving, Lavonte David is leaving, secondary is kind of a mess. If there's no team around him, what's the point of, even if you think Baker Mayfield is the needle mover, of having a $50 million quarterback play on the New York Jets? Like, what if Lamar Jackson played for the Jets? It wouldn't matter. They'd be the Jets. They'd suck. Like, no one is that good. So if the team is going to fall apart around him, then what's the point of wasting 1/5 of the cap on keeping him. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Josh Allen. He's not even Matthew
Yeah.
Stafford.
I think these next 17 games for the Bucks are going to tell a lot about how the next 5 to 10 years might go for the franchise.
I agree. I wanted to rebuild after last year, but clearly with so many people still on the books, we're not in a position to do that. But I think letting Mike Evans go is a lot bigger sign than people are realizing.
Yeah. All right. We've rambled about Baker for a little bit now, so I want to go back to the Vita Vea discussion real quick. What teams do we think might be some possible suitors for Vita Vea should he get traded? Any teams that pop off the page to you?
I've been seeing the 49ers, and I don't see that as a bad thing because I don't think their interior line is that good, even though they have Fred Warner to be able to stop the run and basically do everything because he's that good. I think that would be a really great addition to them, but that would be horrible for the Rams. But
Yeah,
I've also been seeing that the Rams are in it, which I'm very confused by because I don't think we have the money even at all to pay for him.
Well, I say only, but he's only 17 million. You can restructure contracts to make $17 million work for a single year.
If you're running it with Myles Garrett and everything, like you kind of, if you're the Rams and you're like, we're serious title contenders, why not get the guy who can stop the tush
That's
push?
true. Yeah.
Like, just go for it. Get Vita
Mhm.
Vea. You won the Super Bowl.
No,
Like, you don't
I
have
mean
a
the
flaw.
Rams. We've seen the Rams do this before. They just went for it and they won the Super Bowl. Like it has paid off for them. And as much as it annoys me because it hasn't worked out this way for the Bucks, the Rams went for it, and here we are 6 years later, and they're able to go for it again because of the roster they've built back around. But
Yeah.
that's a testament to the level of consistency they're getting from Matthew Stafford. We're not getting that level of consistency from Baker Mayfield. I think the Rams are the example that the Bucks should follow. You can still do this, but you need a steady hand, like realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also seen, and I would be surprised if this one comes to fruition because this team doesn't make moves like this really. But the LA Chargers also seem like they could be their name
I
could
would
be in the
love for
hat
them to go to
for
the
it.
AFC.
Yeah, I would like for him to go to the AFC too.
You know who's made a lot of
I've
moves
seen-
to beef back up their defense? And I don't know if this is really a possibility or really even a
Raiders?
fit, but the Chiefs.
Oh.
The Chiefs have put a lot of effort back
Yeah.
into that defense. A
That's
lot
true.
of effort back into that defense.
That's true.
Wait.
They've moved a lot of pieces already, so why not move one more?
Yeah, I mean, especially if it means you're going to get Vita Vea and Chris Jones, who's running up the middle on you.
Yeah, I do think I've seen though that Vita Vea, his preferred destination would be somewhere in California. I guess he's from California or the Las Vegas Raiders. So
I think
know,
the
I guess-
Raiders could. I think the Raiders are like really like sneaky. Like
Oh yeah.
they've got the money to put a
they're-
team together, and if they put a team together, they could very easily do what the Patriots did and just go crazy with Mendoza in year 2.
yeah.
So why not have Vita Vea now get a head start on getting those kind of pieces into the system?
Yeah, and speaking of getting Vita Vea, guys, for the Bucks, what do we think that they could possibly get in return? I don't think it would be something massive. I think it's more to get the contract off the books. So my opinion, if they get a third, second round pick back, maybe you consider yourself lucky.
Yeah, I mean, with 1 year, I think that's the reality of the situation. I would love to get a second round pick. I think that's like my ideal scenario. Um, it's upsetting because I think Vita Vea is like a lot more talented than that. I really think Vita Vea right now even could still, if he didn't have 1 year and didn't want to be a Buccaneer, so you kind of have to get rid of him, could fetch you a first round pick. Like I think he is that caliber of player. He could fetch you nothing else, just one first round pick.
Well, my
Um,
only
but
thing though is
he
is
wants out and he
31
has
years
1 year.
old. Yeah, and he's 31 years old. So
But
age plays
again,
a
my
factor
thing
in the
is
return.
he is statistically the single greatest player in the league against the quarterback sneak.
That's true.
So I mean, if you're looking for a guy on defense who you're like, "Oh, I can't get over the hump because these teams just keep lining up in front of me and pushing, and I have no one on my team who can stop that," and you're looking at Vita Vea, you're like, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Oh, my team has a bad run defense. Who is 400 pounds, but also incredibly quick off the ball and shedding in the middle? Oh, I can have that guy. He doesn't want to play for the Bucks anymore. He might be
Yeah,
the best
Casey.
defender on the Bucks right now.
Casey, do you agree? Do you think maybe third, second rounder, something different for Vita Vea?
Oh yeah, I think anywhere in that range. I don't see anything else. I mean, I'm not seeing the first round like you guys, but I'm not.
We're
Also,
not gonna get it. We're not gonna get it.
No,
Yeah,
no.
exactly. That's
First
what I'm
round is
saying.
pipe dream.
But I'm
That's
also not
happening.
seeing they're just gonna give him out for like a bag of chips. So I think second and third would be
I think
good.
we're actually gonna be disappointed by what we hear. Like what we're
Really?
gonna get the return, and I think we're gonna be disappointed by it.
When we trade him for a fifth round pick, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be disappointed, but I won't be surprised.
Well, yeah, when he moves for like a fifth and a future seventh, and that's just like life, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's
Horrible,
kind of
but
how these
he
things tend
wants
to go.
out. He doesn't want to be there.
These teams, the team selling never gets the return that you think they might in the NFL.
If the Bucks are a severed relationship to the point where Vita Vea is saying, I no longer, after playing my entire career here, want to be a Buccaneer, then what are they going to do? He's not going to play for them. So,
Yeah.
like, what are you going to do?
Might as well get something, then let the contract expire.
He will just not play, and he'll ride it out. And the other, I mean, teams know that. But if the return is, I say this so genuinely, if the return is a fifth round pick, I mean, even if the return is a third round pick, right? I think the Rams are doing themselves a disservice if they are not the team that can put that offer in there, because
I agree.
they are the front runner for the Super Bowl, and this just makes their defensive line that much better. If everyone's talking about, oh, we could get Aaron Donald back, well, if that's not happening, I think Vita Vea is a really good alternative to that.
Yeah, on my show doc, answer that question, I have Rams written down in red. I think that's the team he ends up on. So
I think they're the team that has the most reason to go for. Yeah, I would love for him. You know what? At least if I can't have Vita Vea, I would rather you be happy, because I know this Bucks team is not winning a Super Bowl, so you might as well be happy, and they might as at least Vita Vea can win a Super Bowl.
We know the Rams don't make draft picks anyways, so
yeah, exactly. You're just
going
to trade the pick to another team, so you might as well trade it to us. You might as well give it to us, and it'll be the last pick in the third round, and I can live with that.
Mm-hmm. I'll talk to Les Snead. We'll see what we can work out.
Yeah, it'll be Mr. Irrelevant is what we'll get back for him. It'll be their 7th round pick, and they'll win the Super Bowl because the team's so good.
We could get that solves the Baker issue. We could get our Brock Purdy. Look at that. Brock Purdy went to a Super Bowl.
That's a whole other issue.
All right, let's move on from the NFL, guys. MLB, big week coming up. Their trade deadline is August 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern. So, guys, got a few questions for y'all here to wrap up the discussion for today. One player you expect to be dealt by the deadline. So one player that you'd really be surprised if they're still on their current team by the time we roll around to next week. Who wants to hit it first?
I'll start. I talked about this guy like a few shows ago, but I think Luis Arias is gonna move on from the Giants and help the team that's actually contending be a lot better. So I'm gonna go with Luis Arias.
Yeah, Colin.
I had Luis Arias also written down, but I had a backup. I was ready. Jose Soriano. That guy he was a Cy Young contender at the beginning of the year, and the Angels are unironically the single worst team in the entire league. So I just don't foresee, with pitching being the most important thing, you're trying to get, quality starts to keep your bullpen fresh when you're playing back to back to back. Why not go get Jose Soriano? You don't need him to be a Cy Young contender, which he's really not anymore, I don't think. But at his best, he can pitch at that level. He's having the best year of his career. So go get him.
Yeah, my answer, guys, it's probably not as surefire as your two answers. I think your two answers are a little bit more likely. But I keep seeing Byron Buxton's name show up everywhere for trade rumors. I think that a contender could go out and grab him.
I'll tell you why that won't happen.
Why do you think so?
Because Byron Buxton wants to play in Minnesota, I think. I don't think he cares about winning. I think Byron Buxton wants to play in Minnesota. And if I'm not mistaken, he has a no-trade clause.
Oh, then never mind.
So okay. I don't think Byron Buxton will allow himself to be traded. I think
I'm changing my answer to Luis Arias.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident that he has a no trade clause and he doesn't want to ever leave there for whatever reason. I don't think that's
Yeah.
maybe the right career move, but it's like Mike Trout. Mike
Yeah.
Trout will never leave the Angels, even when they're terrible. It doesn't matter. He's going to be there the rest of his life.
That guy is loyal.
He's
All
going to
right.
get buried in the outfield at Angel Stadium, but like whatever.
All right, surprise player to be on the move. Who do we think? Someone a little bit out of left field. Could be other than a left fielder, but someone you'd be surprised to see moving.
Do you have
That
someone,
one?
Casey? I do,
Yeah,
but I can let you go if you want.
sure. I've been seeing this, and I'm just, I don't know, dumbfounded by it, like what I'm seeing, because like they're saying that Mason Miller could be traded out of.
I've seen that too.
It's mine. He will be. I think he will be.
That which like,
Dude, Mason Miller being traded 2 deadlines in a row would be unbelievable. He's so
The Padres
good.
are so bad. The Padres are so bad. That's the point, though. The Padres are so bad.
Yeah, you're right.
I know, but a player like him, you shouldn't, even if you're bad.
No. Think of Chapman. Chapman got thrown all around to the contenders. It was like
That's
every
true.
year
That's
Aroldis
true.
Chapman was playing for a different contender.
True.
That's what it is being a closer. Unless you're Mariano Rivera playing for the Yankees and you're a closer, good luck, buddy. You're finding the best team possible, and they're picking you up at the deadline.
Rays, come to Tampa. Dude, we get Mason Miller.
I don't think I don't think that's the move for us, but maybe. I wouldn't hate it.
Hey, better than Craig Kimbrell.
I have my dream. I know it's later on, but I have my dream Rays trade crafted already.
Okay. We'll hold that for just a moment. Colin, what's your surprise player, or was it also Mason Miller?
It was Mason Miller. No, I'll find one. You go.
Okay, I'll go with mine. Mine is a little bit different. Because I saw this. And I don't know if it's really possible at all, but it was something that has kind of got the gears turning in my head, and I was like, it makes sense. I don't think it'll happen. I'd be surprised for sure. But what if the Mets decided to move on from Francisco Lindor? The experiment there.
Too. Can you explain that to me, actually? Because I genuinely have seen it, and I don't understand it.
Everything's going wrong in New York. I mean, you invested in Francisco Lindor. You invested in Juan Soto. You're not giving up Soto at this point. You put too much money into that. So if you can get a team that's willing to take on the majority of his salary, why not send him off? You're probably not making the playoffs this year. Or I know you're not making the playoffs this year. So send him somewhere that's willing to pay you a pretty penny. Francisco Lindor is still a very good shortstop. Send him to a needy team. He's having a down year. Maybe that's what he needs, is a change of scenery.
Okay, I found a player. I don't think it would actually be that surprising, but mine was Mason Miller. So I will preface with that. But I'll go with Brady Singer. The Reds are pretty terrible. The Reds are not a team I thought would be pretty terrible. They already re-signed Chase Burns, so clearly that's the horse they're going to stick with at the front of their rotation, which is fine. I think Chase Burns is really good. But Brady Singer is pretty good. Every team wants pitching. Pitching wins you championships, like I was saying before. So although I think Brady Singer is like pretty locked in there, I don't think he's like definitely going somewhere. I wouldn't be shocked if I saw Brady Singer's name, flying over to the Yankees to make them like the best rotation in the league, or if he ended up being a Ray, well, dream. But like even the Cubs, a lot of other teams I think could go get Brady Singer for relatively cheap, and he's a really good player.
Yeah, I agree with that take too. All right, let's talk about the player that none of us have spoken about yet. That I think most of us are going to be keeping our eye on around the deadline. I mean, his name has been circulating for 2-3 months at this point. Tarik Skubal. If he leaves Detroit, I know, Colin, you strongly believe he will not leave the Tigers. If he does leave the Tigers, though, where do we think he ends up?
Realistically, if Tarik Skubal is to leave the Tigers this year, he's a Yankee or he's a Dodger, and I really don't see like a world in which it's any other team. Like I don't see any reason for like any other team to even take that on, because you're just basically saying I'm gonna have to trade him away later for less, unless you're like really confident you can go for it.
I mean, you trade for him and you're willing to let the deal expire at the end of the season.
Yeah, but I just don't think like teams are gonna be willing to do that unless it's maybe like the Brewers. But
that was my answer. Gosh.
But you know what I'm saying? Like I just don't see it. I really think it's going to be the Dodgers or the Yankees, which is such a boring answer. But if he is going to go somewhere, it's going to go to a team that's like I can re-sign him, in my opinion, for the
Well,
amount that
I'm
he's
going to
going to
interject before Casey, just because the Brewers was my answer. Because I agree, Yankees Dodgers makes the most sense. But outside of them, the Brewers I think are the best team with the assets available to go get Tarek Skubal. That you just try to go win a
Yeah.
World Series. Mizorowski is probably going to win the Cy Young. Just add Tarek Skubal to that rotation, and you have one of the best rotations in the majors now.
I just think the Brewers are like a story that I've seen. I've seen the ending. I've seen it written. I've seen it be the Brewers like over and over again. I don't know. It's just like it's very CC Sabathia in my opinion. He's gonna end up playing for the Yankees anyway if they trade for him. So maybe they've learned their lesson. Maybe they haven't.
Yeah, Casey.
I love the Brewers because they want to beat us in the regular season, but they can never beat us in the playoffs.
That's the story. I'm telling you, the Brewers cannot win in the playoffs for whatever reason. Let them. They have the best record every year. Oh, the Brewers are so good, and then they get flattened when it comes down to it.
Literally. All right. So for my team, I didn't go with the Yankees or Dodgers because I could see the Yankees, but I guess I don't want to see him go on the Dodgers for some odd reason. But with my team, I'm gonna go with the Phillies because besides Christopher
They already have
Sanchez,
a great rotation.
But why not have more?
That's true. You're
that's
right.
what I'm
You're
saying.
right.
Like I don't think they have the best rotation, but they can get there with Tariq Skubal, and they're just there in the wild card. And if they add a player like him, I think they can go pretty far.
Mm-hmm.
The Phillies could very easily still win the NL East. Like I wouldn't be shocked at all if they won the NL East
Well,
from
they're
this
not that
point.
far back on the Braves. Only a handful of games.
The
So
Braves slid a lot, so I really
That's
like.
true.
I think I don't think the Phillies is a crazy answer. Is what I'm saying. I think the Phillies is like a team that if they have the assets to make it happen, then why not? This could be their year. Like realistically, it could be their year.
Yeah.
all right, guys. This is the fun one that Colin was alluding to earlier. We're gonna make one mock trade each for our team. So Colin and I will make a mock trade for the Rays. Casey, you're gonna make a mock trade for the Dodgers. So Casey, do you want to kick it off with your Dodgers trade?
Sure.
All
Well,
right.
I'm gonna go not in the happiest dream making, but from what I'm seeing, they might be trading away Teoscar Hernandez, and I can actually really see Teoscar Hernandez getting traded away from the Dodgers. And
That's not the direction
honestly,
I thought you were going with it, but I like it.
I don't know what team, but I think any team that gets him will be instantly better. But from what the Dodgers have in the outfield, they're saying they don't really need him, which sucks because he could just be rotated around. And I don't know. I wouldn't want to see him go, but realistically I can see him going.
But if you get the next like Andy Pajes from trading him, like you're not going to be sad about it. You know what I mean? Like
That's true. That's true. But
Yeah.
that's my spiel on my trade.
you don't have any. Who's your dream acquisition for the Dodgers?
That's a good
You're like,
question.
Oh,
I would
okay.
love for them to get this player. And realistic, it's not going to be Juan Soto. They're not getting Juan Soto or like Aaron Judge.
He's gonna say Tarek Skubal.
Well, that's real. No, he said he doesn't want him. So I want to know what his dream
Yeah.
acquisition. Oh my god, acquisition.
I feel really bad because I don't want to get anyone. I think this Dodgers team is doing fine with the players
He said to the
have.
Dodgers management, he's like, your greed sickens me. Send the players away.
No, I feel really bad because I think this
Dude,
Dodgers
no, there's
team.
got to be like a bullpen arm. There's got to be a bullpen arm that you want.
That's
The
true.
Dodgers bullpen needs help.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I can't. You know what? Let's go for Mason Miller.
Craig
Is that-
Kimbrell's on the block.
I bet he is. He's probably not, honestly. He's probably untouchable.
I'll go with Mason Miller.
Okay, I like that. No, I like that answer.
Oh, no, it's good. Colin, what's your mock trade for the Rays?
So I haven't really thought much about what they're like giving up. I think they would have to give up a lot to make this happen. But this is my dream. I see it. I am like, I feel like I'm like, I'm seeing it in my dreams, like everywhere. Ketel Marte.
That was mine.
And I wanted to say him for surprise player that's going to be traded, and here's why. I know we always hear Ketel Marte, and he never goes anywhere, but he's unfollowed the Diamondbacks. He's taken down all his posts. The Rays, go get Ketel Marte. I'm begging you to go get Ketel Marte.
Dude, we need a
It
second
could be
baseman.
Carson Williams going back. Like, it genuinely could be Carson Williams going back.
That's
and I
fine.
was.
That's
This would be me
fine.
at night.
Yeah.
I'd be easy sleeping,
Carson
bro.
Williams, Carson Williams the other way, that's totally fine. Because we just drafted that second overall,
Grady Emerson.
Grady Emerson. He'll play short for us one day, presumably. So
Taylor Walsh is having a resurgent season somehow. I don't know how, but
dude,
Taylor
who's
Walsh
the
is
Taylor
playing
Walsh
phenomenal.
between you and I. You know it's me.
I know, but I'm saying Taylor Walsh is somehow playing phenomenal. So, like, go
No,
get
not
Ketel Marte
somehow. I
and play
always
fun.
knew Taylor Walsh was good.
Okay, well, somehow Taylor Walsh is putting the ball in play and it's getting down. I can't believe my eyes every time it happens. But, like, I like Ben Williamson, but go get someone. Dude, go all in. If you're the Rays, go all in. You can win the American League. You are the best team in the American League right now. Go be the best team. Go make the move. Get Brian Baker help. Get a fifth guy in the rotation. Go do it. Just go do it. I don't care. Just go do it.
Okay, well, my answer was also going to be Ketel Marte, but since you already took Ketel Marte, I'm going to swing for the fences, and the Rays are trading for Tarek Skubal.
I don't like that move, but that's not crazy.
Okay, well,
Why? Why do you not like that move?
I think we could
It would be the
never
greatest
have
trade in our
Tarek.
franchise history.
No. But I think we would be giving up so much for a player that we could never have after. Ketel Marte, I could realistically see re-signing in Tampa.
That's what they were going to do with Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, and we would have lost that trade. Did you see the return we were going to give up?
Yeah,
it had
I
Junior
saw the return,
Caminero
but it
in
would have been sick for like 5 months.
It would have, but he would have left. No, and that's fine, but go get Ketel Marte.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Ketel Marte is the one that I want to.
But like I said, go for it. If Tarek Skubal is what they feel like they need to do to go for it, then go for it. I just think coming right off of injury, that is not my definition of like go for it. Get someone who's hot, who's playing well. They're ready to go. They're ready to step right into your lineup and take off. I mean, there's starting pitcher out there, pitching out of there other than him. Go get Brady Singer. Like, you know what I mean? Like those guys. Go get Mason Miller. Like, I'm cool with that.
I want to see us land a guy. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Is I want to see.
I want to see the Rays land more than one guy, but it's got to be at least one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They've got to land at least one guy.
Yeah.
This is the window. This is the year. Like
this is. They might be the best team in the AL.
The Yankees are hurt. This is your opportunity to go out there and beat the Yankees. Get home field advantage. We're so good at home. Go out, just go do it. I think we have the most sweeps in the league this year.
We're undefeated in the Devil Rays uniforms. Wear those the rest of the season.
We literally have like an 800 record at home in all uniforms. Get the first seed. We can't be beat at home. I don't know what it is, but they're playing out of their mind. And at least if they lose in the playoffs and they went for it, I can sleep easy knowing they went for it and they gave it their all. I would hate to lose because they just were like, oh, we think the team's good enough as it is. It's not. The American League is not that good. Go for it. Be the best team. And maybe you can, get lucky against the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Braves. But in 7 games, but you know what I'm saying? Like in 7 games, anything can happen. Put yourself in the position to be in those 7 games.
I agree.
I saw a far inferior Rays team take the Dodgers to 6.
I'm clipping that, and I'm sending it to the Rays general manager because that would be
won't
great.
Listen.
He won't.
He's ignoring me.
All right, guys. Anything more about the trade deadline before we wrap it up?
No, that's all I had was Ketel Marte. Ketel Marte was my surprise trade backup, but then I didn't want to spoil my.
Gotcha.
So I had to move on to someone who was less shocking.
All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining us again today, whether it was on YouTube or Spotify. Hope you all enjoyed. And if you did enjoy on the YouTube, please consider liking and subscribing. If you enjoyed on the Spotify, is it following on Spotify?
I think you can follow on Spotify, actually.
Yeah? No?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
following.
okay, yeah.
And
Follow
you
on
can like
Spotify.
it.
Can you like on Spotify? I'm
I don't
really
know.
unfamiliar
Do
with
whatever you
that.
can do. Leave a comment. I think
Yeah,
I
whatever
got
you can
comments
do
turned
on
on Spotify.
Spotify, do it on Spotify. So also make sure to stay tuned to our Instagram account at 3 Intersection Sports Podcast. And yeah, anything else, guys, before we sign off for the week?
Casey, what's the comment for the week for making it to the end?
Tariq Rays.
I
All right,
like it.
comment Tariq Rays if you made it to the end.
Remember this, Casey. I'm proud of this, by the way.
Oh
Toronto
yeah,
Maple
that was
Leafs.
good. Oh, and the Kings.
Yeah, that was the year before the LA Kings.
I can't verify if that's true, but
The LA
I
Kings were the
believe you.
7th team in the NHL.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I believe you. I didn't look that far into it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Other than that, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week for episode 10, hitting double digits.
Woo!
What? All right. Bye, everyone. See you next week.